Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Today I'm doing the 2026 United States governor's map and going through every single governor's race and giving the map based on what the early polls are showing at this time. So whatever the polls are, I'm going to make the ranking for that state. If there are no polls, I'm going to put it as what the prediction says it is. If there's no polls or prediction, I'm going to go off of the recent election results and what my own personal rankings are. So starting right away with the state of Oregon. Oregon in the 2026 governor's race, this is Democratic incumbent governor Tina Kotek. She could be facing off potentially against Republican and fighter Chael Sonnen. So that'd be a very interesting matchup if that were to happen. He has expressed interest in running for this race. That'd be a very interesting scenario. Cook Politico and Inside Elections has it listed as solid Democrat. Sabato has it as likely Democrat. There's currently no polls for this race. So for now, seeing as there's no polls, 2 out of 3 predictions have it as safe. We're going to put Oregon as safe Democrat at this time. Now we'll move south to the state of California. California, this is a very big Democratic primary underway with several Democrats currently running, including possibly Kamala Harris. She's also expected to run. Several Republicans are running as well. Notable names include Chad Bianco and Steve Hilton. Democratic side of things, you have Xavier Becerra, Eleni Kounalakis, Katie Porter, Antonio Villaraigosa, and again, Kamala Harris. Lots of ways this could potentially go. On the primary side of things, the top 2 vote getters in the governor's race will advance to the general election. Right now, there's no general election polls, but there are solid predictions, solid Democrat for all 3. Oh, I'm sorry, hypothetical polling, it does show where things are right now. Kamala Harris has a commanding lead over the rest of the Democratic field, but as of right now, California would go in this safe Democratic column. Now we'll look at the state of Hawaii. Hawaii has a Democratic incumbent governor up. This is the incumbent governor Josh Green. Mike Gabbard, the father of former U.S. Rep. Tulsi Gabbard has ruled out running for Democrats or Republicans. No polls, but solid Democrat in all 3 races. Unsurprisingly, Hawaii will be a safe Democratic win. Next, we have the state of Alaska, where this could potentially get very interesting if the Democratic former U.S. Representative Mary Peltola decides to run. She has publicly expressed interest in this race. The only Republican mentioned right now is Nancy Dahlstrom, the Lieutenant Governor of Alaska. The ranking so far, solid Republican for Cook Politico and Inside Elections. Sabbath's Crystal Ball has it as likely Republican. The poll right now from Nick Begich versus Mary Peltola has a tied race. Nancy Dahlstrom versus Mary Peltola, this is from Democrat for Progress from back in early February, shows Peltola up by 10. So the poll shows the Democrat winning in a likely margin. Cook Politico and Inside have it safe. Sabato likely. We're going to split the difference a little bit here. Wait for more polls to come out, but we're going to start the race as likely Republican at this time as we wait for more information out of that race. But that does show it could get very competitive. The state of Idaho, I'm not sure if there's any polls out of the state of Idaho at this time. It's Republican incumbent governor Brad Little's expressed interest in running. No Democratic opponents are mentioned. Solid rankings for the Republicans all across. No surprise, Idaho will go solid Republican. Now we have the state of Nevada, which is expected to be one of the closer governor's races in the United States. This is Republican incumbent governor Joe Lombardo. He flipped the seat from blue to red in 2022, defeating Democratic governor Steve Sisolak. Aaron Ford, the Nevada Attorney General, is running for this race. Sisolak has also expressed interest in potentially running for this race in 2026 as well. Cook Politico and Inside Elections has it as battleground. Sabato's Crystal Ball has it as lean Republican. The only poll that's been done from back of May in 23 showed Lombardo winning by 21 points. So with 2 out of the 3 rankings being toss-up, the poll here being safe Republican, 1 being lean Republican, we're going to play on the side of caution here with everything and just say Nevada starts out as lean Republican, splitting the difference between the battlegrounds and the polling and the rankings. Lean Republican is where it starts off right now. Let's go to Arizona. Arizona, this I would say going out on a limb probably will be the closest governor's race in 2026. This is Democratic incumbent governor Katie Hobbs. She's expressed interest in running again. Right now, she's either going to face off against Andy Biggs, the U.S. representative from Arizona, or Karen Taylor Robson, the former candidate for governor in 2022, both of which have the endorsement of President Trump. And right now, the early polling shows Biggs leading over Robson by a pretty substantial margin. The rankings, the toss-ups, or the predictions, for Cook Politico, Inside Elections, and Sabato Crystal Ball all have the race listed as battleground or toss-up at this time. Katie Hobbs is leading over Karen Taylor Robson in all 3 polls. In the 3 early polls right now, Katie Hobbs leads over Andy Biggs in 2 out of the 3. Every single one of them is under the margin of error, showing a very, very close race. With the toss-up rankings and the lead for Hobbs by lean margins in 2 of the polls, by a lean margin in 1 of the polls for Biggs, this race is going to be very, very close. I'm going to narrowly put it in the tilt column for Katie Hobbs at this time, based on the rankings and the polls so far. The state of Wyoming, this is going to be in all likelihood a safe Republican state. The Republican governor is term limited, cannot run again. 2 Republicans are running, Brett Bryan and Joseph Kibler. Harriet Hagerman and Kurt Mayers also expressed interest. All 3 rankings have it as solid Republican, so unsurprisingly, Wyoming will have a solid Republican ranking. The state of Colorado now. Colorado, this is Democratic incumbent Governor Jared Polis. He is term limited. Right now, Michael Bennet, the U.S. Senator, and Phil Weiser, the Attorney General, are both running for this seat. On the Republican side of things, there are a bunch of Republicans running, but it is the state of Colorado. Fully expect this to be a Democratic win. All 3 rankings have it solid Democratic, no polls at this time. Colorado starts out as safe Democratic at this time. The state of New Mexico now. New Mexico did show some competitiveness in 2024. Democratic incumbent Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham is term limited, cannot run again. 2 Democrats are running, Sam Bregman, the father of Red Sox player Alex Bregman, and Deb Haaland, former U.S. Secretary of the Interior, are both running as Democrats. Republicans have Greg Holt and Judith Nakamura running and expressing interest in running at this time. This race has likely Democrat in 2 out of the 3 rankings, battleground in 1 of the rankings. Splitting the difference would be lean Democrat at this time, but I'm still going to put it in likely Democrat, as 2 out of the 3 rankings do have the race as likely Democrat for New Mexico. Now we're going to move up to the state of South Dakota. This was Governor Kristi Noem before she was term limited out, and now she's serving in the Trump administration. The Republican incumbent governor at this time is Larry Roden, who Roden has expressed interest in running. John Hanson, the Speaker of the House of South Dakota House of Representatives, is running in that race. The hypothetical polling so far shows Dusty Johnson leading by 1 point over Larry Roden, but right now it is currently solid Republican in all 3 rankings. South Dakota begins as solid Republican. The state of Nebraska now, moving just south of South Dakota. This is Republican incumbent Governor Jim Pillen. The only potential opponent is Dan Osborne, who's publicly expressed interest in running for this race. He has also expressed interest in running for Senate and House and Governor. So he can't do all 3. We're going to have to wait and see which one he chooses. But all 3 rankings have this race as solid Republican. Nebraska, no surprise, safe Republican state. The state of Kansas, this is actually very interesting because this is Democratic incumbent Governor Laura Kelly. She is term limited and cannot seek a 3rd consecutive term. She won surprisingly back in 2018 after the Republican incumbent Governor Sam Brownback's administration was very unpopular, and 2018 being the wave Democratic year that it was, she was able to win a close election and win re-election in 2022. On the Democratic side of things, a state senator, Cindy Hochler, has expressed interest in running. The Lieutenant Governor of Kansas, David Tolan, is a potential candidate. We're going to have to wait and see on that side of things. The Republicans, there are currently 4 Republicans running, including the Kansas Secretary of State, Scott Schwab. He is running. 3 other Republicans have expressed interest. Chris Kobach, the nominee for governor in 2018, is also, and the Attorney General of Kansas now, is also a potential candidate. Predictions at this time have the race as lean Republican, which is a flip for Cook Politico, and Sabado Cristobal Inside Elections has it as a battleground. No polls yet, but as of the early predictions, starting out Kansas with lean Republican at this time. The state of Oklahoma, actually I just want to mention really quick, Kansas is expected to be a very close governor's race as well. Oklahoma, this is going to be the Republican incumbent Governor Kevin Stitt is term limited. He cannot seek re-election. There's a very competitive Republican primary underway right now between the Oklahoma Attorney General, Mike Mazzei, the former Oklahoma Secretary of Budget, a former city manager of Rio Communitalities, New Mexico, Speaker of the Oklahoma House, and Jake Merrick, as well, former state senator. We also have other potential candidates, including the Lieutenant Governor, Matt Pennell, Lieutenant Governor of Oklahoma. Lots of Republicans could run for this race. Right now, no polls, but it does have solid Republican for all 3 rankings. Oklahoma begins as safe Republican. The state of Texas now, this is Republican incumbent Governor Greg Abbott. Texas does not have term limits for governor, and if Abbott were to be successful and finish out a 4th term, he would become the state's longest serving governor with 16 years on January 21st, 2031. He has declared, and he is running for re-election. Democratic potential candidates include Joaquin Castro and James Tallarico. No polls yet, but does have the race as solid Republican. So we're going to put Texas into the solid, safe Republican category as of now. Next, we're going to go to the state of Arkansas. Arkansas, a neighboring state of Texas. This is Republican incumbent governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders. She is declared running for re-election. No opponents listed yet. Solid Republican rankings all across the board. Oklahoma would be safe Republican. Now we're going to move up to the state of Iowa. This is Republican incumbent governor Kim Reynolds. She recently announced she would not be running to a third term in office, though she was eligible to do so if she wanted. The only Republican declared right now is Brad Sherman, a former state rep. Formed exploratory committees, another state rep, Mike Busalot. There's also Attorney General Brenna Bird's expressed interest, as well as Randy Feenstra, U.S. rep from Iowa's 4th District. Pat Grassley, Bobby Kaufman, Mike Nag, and Amy Sinclair, all are potential candidates as well. We did have some recent news where Zach Nunn has ruled out running for Iowa governor, as well as Marinette Miller Meeks has also ruled out a potential run as well. Ashley Hinson is also not running for this race. On the Democratic side of things, Rob Sand, the Iowa auditor of the state, is seen as the top Democratic candidate. Paul Dahl and Julia Stotch are also declared and filed paperwork, but Rob Sand would be the most formidable candidate. The rankings for this one are a little bit all over the place. Cook Politico has it as solid, Sabato as likely, and Inside Elections has it as battleground. So with all of that, solid plus likely plus battleground, I'm going to average that out right now to have it starting out, that's a Senate map, have Iowa starting out as likely Republican at this time, with the potential to go down to lean Republican, kind of right on the fence for those, but I'm going to start it out as likely Republican right now. Now we're going to go to the state of Minnesota. This is the Democratic governor, Tim Walz, who is just the VP with Kamala Harris in 2024 in the Democratic ticket. He's expressed interest in running for the race. His decision is expected in the summertime. On the Republican side of things, Jeff Johnson's declared. 2 other candidates, Brad Kohler and Phil Parrish, filed paperwork to run, with lots of potential candidates expressing interest, including Scott Jensen and Mike Lindell. Right now, Cook Politico has it as likely, Sabato Crystal Ball likely, Inside Elections as solid. No polling, but the predictions average out to a likely ranking for the state of Minnesota. Next, we're going to go to the state of Wisconsin. The state of Wisconsin, this is Democratic incumbent governor Tony Evers. It's going to be a very close race. He's publicly expressed interest in running again, but he has not officially said if he is going to run. Right now, I do assume he will be running, though. Declared candidates include Josh Schoeman, Washington County Executive, Republicans, 3 of which, Bill Branian, Patrick Teston, and Tom Tiffany, have publicly expressed interest in running for this race. We also have some other potential candidates as well. Some past candidates, Rebecca Kleefish and Eric Hovde, as well, potential candidates. Right now, the predictions for this race have it as a toss-up in 2 out of the 3 for Cook Politico and Inside Elections. Sabato Crystal Ball has it as lean Democrat, splitting the difference between toss-up and lean Democrat with 2 out of the 3. I am going to put Wisconsin very narrowly into the tilt Democratic column, because just making Wisconsin a battleground and not giving a ranking at this time honestly would be very boring. So starting Wisconsin out as tilt Democrat. The state of Illinois, a neighboring state, this is Governor J.B. Pritzker. He's expressed interest in running, but again has not made an official decision at this time. On the Republican side of things, 2 Republicans are running. 2 other Republicans have publicly expressed interest as well. All 3 rankings have the state as safe Democrat. Illinois goes into the safe Democratic column. The state of Tennessee, while we're moving down this way, Tennessee, this is the Republican incumbent governor Bill Lee. He is term limited, cannot run for a 3rd term. U.S. Rep. John Rose is running. Senator Marsha Blackburn's expressed interest in running, and she could be jumping into this race as well as 2 other U.S. representatives from Tennessee. On the Democratic side of things, 2 Democrats are potential candidates, John Ray Clemens and Jim Cooper. All 3 rankings have this state as solid Republican. This would put Tennessee into the safe Republican column to start things out right now. Back up north to the state of Michigan. Michigan's going to be very close. This is Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Michigan. She is term limited and cannot running. The former, or I guess, outgoing mayor of Detroit, the serving mayor of Detroit right now, Mike Duggan. He's running as an independent candidate, which is going to make things very interesting. Democrats, Jocelyn Benson, Garland Gilchrist, and Chris Swanson are the declared candidates at this time. On the Republican ticket, right now there are Mike Cox, there's John James, Eric Nesbitt, lots of Republicans running as well, and Mike Duggan's really throwing a wrench into all this as well. All 3 predictions have it as a toss-up for Battleground and toss-up for Cook Politico, Inside, and Sabato Crystal Ball. This race is really all over the place. Jocelyn Benson versus Tudor Dixon, Mike Duggan. Benson's leading by 2. Jocelyn Benson versus Cox and Duggan. Benson is up by 1, or up by 2 over Cox. and then Benson over James versus Duggan. And the most recent poll from March, Benson's up by 3. The prior poll from Target Insight, which again I've not really heard of too much, is up by 12 points. I think that one's a little bit of an outlier. Based on the predictions in the early polls right now, Michigan's governor's race starts out as an early Democratic lean for Jocelyn Benson in Michigan. Going to be a very close race in the state of Michigan. Now we'll go down to the south first, to the state of Alabama. Alabama, this isn't going to be much of a surprise. Republican Governor Kay Ivey is term limited. Tommy Tuberville, the U.S. Senator, is expected to announce that he'll be running for governor by the end of May. He'll not be running for re-election to the U.S. Senate in 2026. And in all likelihood, he will be the Republican nominee. He may face off against Lieutenant Governor Will Ainsworth, but right now I fully expect Tuberville to win that. Democrat Doug Jones, former U.S. Senator, is a potential candidate, but all 3 rankings have it solid Republican. Fully expect Alabama will be a safe Republican seat. Now the state of Florida. Florida, this one could be getting very, very close due to a potential Republican primary. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is term limited and cannot seek a 3rd term. But Republican Byron Donalds, who's already been endorsed by Donald Trump, could be facing off against DeSantis' wife, First Lady of Florida, Casey DeSantis, who in the early primary polling so far has shown a very close race where DeSantis, depending on the poll, is actually leading over Donalds at time, including a new video I just went over earlier today, which showed DeSantis leading in a new poll. On the Democratic side of things, David Jolly formed an exploratory committee. 2 Democrats have expressed interest. Independent candidate, there are 2, John Morgan and Jason Pizzo, have expressed interest in running as well. This ratings right now have it as solid Republican across the board. Hypothetical polling showed generic Republican leading Democrat by 7. But with the rankings as solid Republican, Florida will go into the safe Republican column. Just 12 governors races left to go. Now we have the state of Georgia. Georgia is also expected to be one of the closest governor's races in the country. This is Governor Brian Kemp, who is term limited. Chris Carr, the Attorney General, is running. Marjorie Taylor Greene and Burt Jones have expressed interest in running as well. Democrat Keisha Lance Bottoms has filed paperwork. Stacey Abrams, the former nominee from 2018-2022, is also expressed interest. I would say those are the 2 most notable Democrats at this time. The general election, there's not been any polling done on the general election. 2 of the rankings toss up and battleground for Cook and inside elections. Sabato has it as lean Republican. Splitting the difference, I'm starting Georgia out as tilt Republican at this time. As for the state of South Carolina, the neighboring state next door to Georgia, South Carolina, this is Republican Governor Henry McMaster, who is term limited. Josh Kimbrell, state senator, is formed an exploratory committee. Several other Republicans, including Pamela Evett, Nancy Mace, Ralph Norman, and Alan Wilson, have all expressed interest in running for this race. Democrats have Jermaine Johnson and Mullins McLeod as publicly expressed interest candidates. All 3 rankings give it solid Republican. South Carolina starts out as a solid Republican ranking. The state of Ohio now, this is going to be, in all likelihood, Republican Vivek Ramaswamy running to replace term-limited Governor Mike DeWine. He's facing off against 2 other Republicans, though Vivek has a large lead over the rest of the Republican field at this time. Democrats, Amy Acton is declared running for this race. Sherrod Brown and Tim Ryan have also expressed interest in running as well. Depending on who the Democrats nominate, this could get very, very close. Likely Republican for Cook Politico, likely for Sabato, and safe, solid Republican for inside elections. The early polling for Vivek Ramaswamy has him leading Acton by 5 points in the most recent poll from April. This would be barely likely Republican. Public Policy, a Democratic poll, had it up 1 for Acton. This would make it lean Democrat. Other potential polling shows Vivek leading Tim Ryan by approximately 7 points. That would also be likely, and likely in the first poll from Public Policy as well. So with the concept of the polls kind of added up and the predictions for this race, I'm starting Ohio off as likely Republican in this ranking in this video. The state of Pennsylvania, this is Democratic Governor Josh Shapiro. He won a very big victory in 2022 against the Republican Doug Mastriano. He is not declared yet, but he's likely going to run for re-election. On the Republican side of things, 4 Republicans have expressed interest in running, including Doug Mastriano and U.S. Rep. Dan Muser. There's not been any polling done so far, but the only predictions done have likely Democrat, and battleground at this time. Still splitting the difference, I would put the state of Pennsylvania into the likely Democratic column to start out. From one potential 2028 Democratic candidate to another rising star in the Democratic Party in Maryland, this is going to be the governor of the state of Maryland, Wes Moore. It's not clicking for some reason. Here we go. Wes Moore, the Democratic governor, is declared running for re-election. 1 Republican is running for governor, another has expressed interest. Larry Hogan, the former governor, could also be a potential candidate. Cook Political Report, Inside Elections, and Sabato all have it listed as solid Democrat. Maryland begins as safe Democrat in these rankings. The state of New York could potentially get it very interesting due to the fact that the incumbent governor, Kathy Hochul, who is running for re-election, her approval ratings have not been very high. She has expressed interest against two Democratic opponents that could be primary challengers, in Jamal Bowman and Richie Torres. On the Republican side of things, 4 Republicans have expressed interest, including U.S. Representative Elise Stefanik. In the early hypothetical polling so far, likely Democrat for Cook and Sabato. Inside Elections has as a battleground. Hochul versus Stefanik is only a 6-point race in a Republican poll. That would still go in the likely Democratic column, though. So with the predictions in the poll, New York, I would start out like Pennsylvania in the likely Democratic column. Now to the New England to finish things off, we're going to go with the state of Connecticut first. Connecticut, I believe, is going to be Democratic incumbent Governor Ned Lamont, who's eligible to run for a 3rd term. He's expressed interest. He's not yet declared. The Lieutenant Governor, Susan Biskowitz, is also a potential candidate that could run if Lamont does not. And Luke Bronin, the former mayor of Hartford, also very similar, will not run if Lamont runs. The Republicans currently have 1 declared candidate. Aaron Stewart, mayor of New Britain, formed an exploratory committee. 3 other Republicans expressed interest. All 3 rankings have this as solid Democrat. Connecticut is expected to go for the Democrats, safe over 15 points. Next to Connecticut, we have the state of Rhode Island, and I'm going to scroll down, not even try to click on the map for this one. This is Democratic Governor Dan McKee. He's the incumbent. He is running for re-election. Democrats, Helena Foulkes, Peter Neuronner, and Greg Stevens all publicly expressed interest. Former Governor Gina Raimondo has also publicly is viewed as a potential candidate as well. The Republicans, only Republican Ashley Kallis is seen as a potential candidate. Right now, the rankings for the state have it listed as solid Democrat in 2 rankings, likely Democrat for Sabato, and Helena Foulkes, the former CVS executive, could also be running as an independent candidate as well. Given the rankings splitting the difference here, Rhode Island starts out as safe Democrat for this ranking. Only 4 more governor matchups left to go over, starting with the state of Massachusetts. This is going to be Democratic incumbent Governor Maura Healey. She is running for re-election. The Republicans have Mike Keneally and Aaron Packard running for this race. Peter Durant, Louis Evangelis, and Michael Soter have expressed interest in running as well. Former Lieutenant Governor Karen Polito and Minority Leader Bruce Tarr are also seen as potential candidates. No word if they're going to be running at this time or not. As for independents, Connor Gray, a rapper, has declared, and that's pretty much it for all the candidates. All 3 have solid rankings, solid Democrat. Hypothetical polling shows Maura Healey with commanding leads over most of the Republican field by substantial over 15% margins. Massachusetts, right now, without a doubt, starts out as safe Democrat. For the state of Vermont, Vermont's actually a special case because this is Republican Governor Phil Scott, who is certainly a very moderate Republican. He is eligible to run for re-election to a 6th 2-year term. He has not yet stated if he will do so. This state is going to be safe Republican in the predictions right now, based on recent election history, if Phil Scott does run. If Scott does not run, it's more likely than not Vermont would be an automatic flip into the safe Democratic column. Until he makes a decision, though, I'll be leaving Vermont as safe Republican. Next, we have the state of New Hampshire, where Republican Kelly Ayotte was just elected to her first 2-year term in the 2024 governor election in New Hampshire. She has not yet stated if she'll run for re-election, but it's fully expected that she will. Former state senator Tom Sherman, who was a Democratic nominee for governor in 2022, has expressed interest in running for governor again. Based off the governor results in 2024, where Ayotte won by 9.3%, given the election environment in 2026, probably safe to say Ayotte would start out as the likely Republican favorite yet again. Last governor's race to go over, we have the state of Maine. This is where Democratic Governor Janet Mills is term limited and cannot run again. Democrat Secretary of State Shanna Bellows is declared running for this race. Former President of the Maine Senate Troy Jackson has formed an exploratory committee, and U.S. Rep. Jared Golden has expressed interest in running as well. This could be a very brutal Democratic primary underway. On the Republican side of things, 2 Republicans have declared, Robert Charles and Robert Wessels. 2 others have filed paperwork, and a bunch have publicly expressed interest in running for this race, including former U.S. Rep. Bruce Poliquin as well. As for the rankings, Cook, Politico, and Sabato have it likely Democrat. Inside Elections have it as battleground. No polling done yet. I would start Maine out as likely Democrat. So based off all the early polls, and early predictions at this time. It currently has the Republicans winning 19 governor seats, Democrats winning 17, with some very close races in Nevada, Arizona, Kansas, Georgia, Wisconsin, Michigan, and that's mainly being all the close ones at this time. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and a comment below. Maybe point out a governor's race you're very interested in, how you think it's going to go in 2026. That'll be very fun. I can't wait to read all the comments for that. Make sure to give the video a like and click subscribe, as I post at least 3 new videos every day that you're not going to want to miss. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next video.